and their merits and demerits. In our last class, we have discussed, and at the same time related to taxes also, classification of different economists like Dalton, Seligman, classification also we have discussed. So after that, I am going to continue related to this topic only. As the source of the revenue, non-tax revenue is also going to play an important role for the government's activities. So under non-tax revenue, there are different types are there. Different taxes are going to be collected. One is nothing but the commercial revenue, or it may be called as the price also. So generally under this one, the governments are going to launch the public under sector units or undertakings. It is going to be exchanged from for the prices, then it get the income. For example, IOC, Indian Oil Corporation is there, as like that BSNL is there. Whatever the public sector undertaking product is there, it is going to be generally exchanged. That is the first one. Under that one only, administrative revenues are there. This is quite different from the tax. Tax is a compulsory contribution, whereas administrative revenues are not like that. Government is going to render or provide the services to the people. In view of that services, those who are going to offer such services, from them it is going to collect the charges. That is nothing but calling as the administrative services. Administrative services are also going to play an important role as the source of the revenue. And along with them, the government is also going to collect the fees, penalties from the people. So you know that fees is nothing but the compulsory payment paid by the people who are going to take definite service from the government. So this is one of the basic thing. Here fees, after fees, fine is one of the another one. Fine is nothing but the one type of revenue because the crime done by the people. For example, when you are going to done any deterrent of crime, then it is going to be collected from the people. So fines are going to be charged when they are not going to done the properly. That is the basic thing. And like that only, escheat are there. Escheats are nothing but the hireless properties. That means without any hire, the person is going to be died. After that, such properties are going to be taken away by the government. Those are generally considered as the escheat also. And one of the other most important revenue in city areas or town areas are nothing but the special assessment. It is done by the municipal corporation organizations. Generally, when the government is going to build a road or public gardens on either sides of your house, then that will enhance the property value of your house also, because of that infrastructural facilities. In such cases, the government is going to collect one type of non-tax revenue, that is nothing but calling as the special assessment also. Special assessment is also a compulsory thing to be burdened by the individual person as like of a tax. For example, road has been done by the created by the authorities. Because of that, your property values are going to be appreciated, so that you have to pay the special assessment levied by that particular corporation. So like this, there will be gifts are there, grants are there. So all these are going to be considered as the basic part of the public revenue. So after learning various sources of the public revenue, we will continue related to other aspects. You know that recently the government of India in the year 2017 introduced a new tax, that is nothing but the goods and services tax. So this goods and services tax is nothing but a indirect tax. It is a indirect tax introduced by the government of India recently in the year 2017. It was first introduced by the government of France in the year 1954. So the India is one of the governments that 166th government which was recently introduced the concept of GST also. So you know that our Indian government system have been introduced many reforms in the taxation system also. Those are nothing but calling as the financial sector reforms. So you know that related to the concept of VAT also. VAT is nothing but the value added tax. That means at every stage, whenever the value is going to be added, on that value, tax is going to be collected by the government. From the manufacturing stage, from the raw material stage to end of the consumer, this tax is going to be levied by the government. So after that, the government of India in the year 1986 introduced the modified value added tax, or it may be called as the mod VAT, in place of the VAT also. So in our India, we can conclude that since 1986, with the introduction of mod VAT, the financial taxation reforms has been started. So during that period, VP Singh is our economy minister. So this is the first kind of reform introduced by that government in the year 1986. So this MODVAT, or modified value added tax, is nothing but to create some benefits to the manufacturer, and it created the manufacturer credit in regarding to the taxation also. So in our country, since then, reforms were started in the taxation system. After that, in the year 2014, the NDA BJP led government introduced the GST bill in parliament. It was approved by the parliament in July 17, 2017, and it get into implemented or forced in our country. So GST is considered as the unified indirect taxation system. That means many types of indirect taxes are put under the umbrella or purview of the GST only. This is the basic concept. For example, there are many taxes are there, like that of the service tax, like that of other related indirect taxes are put under the purview of the GST, so that only it is considered as the unified indirect taxation system. So in this GST taxation activity, there will be the GST Council. GST Council is the few group of members. It is chaired by the finance minister of our country, and there will be the state finance ministers are also going to act as the members. So this GST Council is going to decide the slab rates on different goods and services. Slab rate means how much tax is to be levied on different items. This is the basic concept. Generally, there are different types of slab rates are there, like that of 5%, 12%, 18%, and 28%. So the GST Council is going to decide how much rate of tax is to be imposed on that particular commodity, and it is going to be finalized after unanimous agreement between the state and central people in the GST Council. So this is the basic activity of the GST Council also. In GST, there are three components are there. One is the SGST, that means States Goods and Service Tax. Next one is the CGST, that is the Central Government's Goods and Service Tax. And the next one is the IGST, that is the Interstate Government Goods and Service Tax. That means when the goods are going to be transferred from one state to other state within the country, this IGST is going to be imposed. You know that recently when you bought any good from any particular organization, there will be the charge of SGST as well as the CGST also. So there will be the basic aspect. All these are going to explain why this GST was introduced in our country. You know that there are many types of taxes are there, number of tax rates are there, that become a complicated issue before the government as well as the people also. Not only that, there is a concept of dualism is also there. That means the same tax is going to be levied by the government as well as the central government at the same time. That means both of them are going to be collecting. This all things leads to the confusion, vague in the taxation system. To avoid this complication, duplicatism, the government of India basically introduced the GST in our country also. With this, there may be a turn up of chance of uniform taxation system all over the country. It become one nation, one taxation system. It is also basic concept of the GST. So as I told you, the finance, the with the finance minister and other state finance ministers, the GST council is going to be decide the tax rates or slab rates which are to be imposed on different commodities also. For this purpose, the GST Council is going to be taken its meetings or sessions quite oftenly. On the necessity issues, there will be the less slab rate, that is the 5%. On commodities like luxury goods, there will be the imposition of the high rate of taxation system. So this is all about the basic themes of the GST. But GST rates are now fixed on the 1012 goods and 500 services in our country also. It is includes like that wheat, rice, milk, fish, vegetables, like on these goods it was included. But you know that on petrol related items, the GST was not going to be considered. So in this manner, there will be a chance of the one nation, one tax system that will going to emerge, leads to make Indian market as one of the emerging market system also. This is all about the basic aspects of the GST. So after learning this concept, now we are going to take other type of systems, that is, you know that generally there are four types of taxation system is there, that is the progressive tax as well as the proportional tax as well as the regressive tax, and the last one is related to the digressive tax. So just we try to understand about the difference between these four taxes. So the first one is nothing but the progressive taxation system. So what is progressive taxation? Progressive taxation means as the income of the persons are going to be increasing, there will be a chance of increase in the tax rate. That is nothing but calling as the progressive taxation. For example, when there will be 1 lakh income is there, that is going to be exempted from the taxation. When the income is going to be increased from 1 lakh to 2 lakhs, there will be the tax rate of 5%. And as like that only, when 2 lakhs to 5 lakhs, there will be 10% of 10% rate of taxation. In this manner, as the level of income is going to be increased, the rate of tax is also increased. This is nothing but calling as the progressive tax. For example, when you go to the budget preparations of India, you can see in that up to what limit the people are going to be exempted from income tax, and from from which limit or from which income the government of India is going to be imposing the tax system. So this is one of the basic concept of the taxation, progressive taxation. Progressive taxation is one of the important one, because as the higher people, higher tax income earned people are going to pay the high rate of taxation compared to the lower income people. This is the basic concept. Like that progressive taxation, there will be the regressive taxation. This is the next concept, regressive taxation. Under this regressive taxation, as income is increasing, the tax rate is going to be decreased. Opposite to the progressive taxation. You know that under progressive, the income is increases, tax rate is also increases. But opposite to that one, under regressive taxation, as income increases, the rate of tax is going to be decreases. For example, when 1 lakh income is there, the rate of tax is 20%. When the 2 lakhs income is there, it becomes 15%. When 3 lakh income is there, it becomes 12%. Like that. This is only example. Like that, as income of a person is going to rise, the tax rate is going to be decreased. That means he has to pay the less rate of tax when his income is going to be increases. That is nothing but calling as the regressive. Regressive means rate of tax is decreasing. So progressive means rate of tax is increasing. This is the basic one. And the third one is nothing but the proportional tax. That is, proportional tax means there is no change in the tax rate. Even though the income increases or base of income decreases, there is no change in the tax rate. That means whenever the people having income of 1 lakh pay the 10% tax rate as like of the 10 lakh person who is also going to pay the 10 lakhs, that 10% of income tax only. That means in proportion to the income, he is going to be paid. So as income increases, the amount of tax is also increases in the same proportion. This is the basic concept of the proportion tax. So digressive tax. In digressive tax, first the tax rates are going to be less. As income increases, the tax rates are going to be increases. For example, for first 10,000, it is 10%, and after that for 30,000, it is 12%. For 50,000, it is 13%. In this manner, there will be the different taxes are there, like progressive tax and regressive tax and proportional tax, as well as the digressive tax system. In our India, we are following the progressive taxation system that is going to create the social justice, equity, and it try to relieve the economy from economic inequalities also, as because higher earning person are going to pay the higher taxes. So this is all about the basic concept of the taxes, different types of taxes. So after learning this one, we are going to discuss one more topic, that is nothing but the canons of taxation. What is canons? Canons are nothing but the rules and regulations. You know that the government is going to get the revenue from the taxation only. So this tax income is going to play an important role in governmental revenue also. governmental revenue also. So this taxation is become one of the tool for the government to involve in its economic welfare activities. So the government has to follow few rules and regulations while it is going to impose the taxes on people also, because overtaxation leads to the adverse effects on the savings of the people, incomes of the people, as well as investments of the producers also. So it has to follow few rules and regulations. Not only that, the canons of taxation are required in view of the government. Not only that, but also in view of the taxpayer also. They should be facilitatable to the taxpayer. Otherwise, taxpayer is not going to pay the tax. He try to evade the tax, or he try to pay the less rate of tax also. So by considering all these things, the Adam Smith, the economist, who has laid down four important canons of taxation. These are must to be followed by the government. After that, few of other economists are also added. Few canons or rules and regulations related to the taxation. So first we try to discuss about these Adam Smith's canons of taxation. The first one is nothing but the canon of equity or equality. That means the tax always should be according to the ability of the people and not related to the amount. It is one of the basic concept. That means everybody should not pay the same rate of tax at a same time. That is nothing but the concept of equality. So the higher income person has to pay more tax as he is having the ability to payment, and like that only lower income person has to pay low rate of tax as he is having the ability to pay off low level of tax. In this manner, the taxpayer should pay the tax in proportion to the income. This is the basic concept of the equality. So that this is create the concept of equality of sacrifice among the taxpayers. You know that in our India, we are following the progressive taxation, so that it follows the concept of the canons of equality. So this is the basic view. And the next one is that canons of certainty. This is the next one, canons of certainty. So canons of certainty means there should always be certainty in taxation. Certainty means that is related to no question of arbitrariness. It should be very clear to every taxpayer when he has to pay, where he has to pay, what he has to pay. These things must and should be known by the taxpayer. When such concept is there, automatically taxpayer come forward to pay his tax without any hesitation. If such certainty is not there, arbitrariness is there, that leads to the concept of uncertainty. So the state should also be certain about the amount of tax it is going to be received from the people at the end of the day. So certainty is one important principle in view of the taxpayer to pay the tax, and certainty is also one of the important principle to assess the amount of the tax revenue related to particular tax to the government also. So this is nothing but the concept of canon of certainty. But here, if you seen that in our Indian taxation system, lack of the certainty, because of that only many evasions are there, corruptions are going to be taken place, and it is having many tax exemptions also. It should be corrected. And the next one is that the canons of convenience. The canon of convenience is nothing but the time and manner of payment should be convenient to the taxpayer. That is time as well as the manner of payment. So how it should be paid, at what time it should be paid. This is nothing but the concept of convenience. So that if the government is going to take the or consider the opinions of the people related to the collection of the tax, then every taxpayer is ready to pay the tax at that particular time also. For example, in our India, when the salaries of government employees are going to pay, then the government is going to collect the income tax from the employees. Like that only, after harvesting, and the government is going to collect the land revenue in the season of the harvesting only. And regarding to the sales tax, excise duty, the consumers is also pay whenever they are going to produce or whenever they are going to purchase. So in this manner, the payment is very convenient to the people, because such sales tax, such consumer items purchasing, excise duty are going to included in the prices of commodities. If government increases the prices, people are not ready to purchase. So the tax amount implicitly which is hidden in that particular good is lost by the government. So tax of canon of convenience is nothing but the time and manner of the payment also. And the next one, the fourth one, Adam Smith's classification is related to the canon of economy. Canon of economy is related to the concept of collection expenditure on behalf of the government. If collection expenditure exceeds the total collection of the tax from the people, then there is no use to the government. That means the cost of collection should be minimum. Then only it should be very useful to the government also. Under this economy, this principle is not only going to explain about the economic side of the government, but also considering the view or angle of the taxpayer. If the tax rate or amount of payment is more, then the people are not ready to pay. They are ready to evade or they are ready to escape, because huge or large amount of tax has to be borne by them. So that only the government is always try to take consideration of the rate of taxes paid by the people also. And when the tax rate is going to influence the production, the people are not ready to produce more also. So that only government should take care all about these issues while it is imposing the tax rates on particular product. So that only government is going to impose the less rate of tax on the necessary goods and huge rate of tax on the harmful goods like cigarettes and liquor. You know that whenever budgets are going to be taken place, governments are going to follow these methods only. Not only that, these become addicts to the people. Through them, the government have a chance to collect the more and more taxes from the people as because of their addiction, and it may have a chance to more revenue also. So these four are basically Adam Smith's canons of taxation. Those are nothing but the equality, certainty, convenience, as well as the economy. After that, few other economists also added few other canons to the existing Adam Smith's canons also. So out of them, Smith is there, Shreyas is there. Those are considered as the economists who have added the remaining canons. So out of those remaining canons, the first one is nothing but the canon of productivity. The canon of productivity means a tax should be productive. That means it should bring some amount of revenue to the government. That amount also large. Otherwise, that is nothing but calling as the productive. If it is very small in its quantities, what is the use to the government by collecting? So that is nothing but calling as the canon of productivity. So the government's view, it is explained by Adam Smith, because if it is not heavily won, it not should create anything to the government, any profit to the government. But at the same time, it should not too heavy, because heavy taxation also create the problems, shows the bad adverse effects on the productive capacity of the economy. And under this canon, it is also said that what is the use of imposing number of taxes which bring small revenue, so that only on small the taxes which are contributing small revenue, instead of a whole of them, only one tax is to be collected which brings the large revenue, and the collection cost of the government is also going to be reduced. This is the basic concept of the productivity. Productivity means it should be productive. That means it should create the large revenue to the government. The next one is nothing but the canon of elasticity. Canon of elasticity means government is able to increase or decrease the tax rate according to the existing situation. When revenues are required, it should increase. When revenues are decreased, it should increase. That is nothing but the canon of elasticity. So this is the basic aspect. Not only that, they can be levied on any number of commodities at the same time also. This is the basic concept of the canon of equality. For example, in our country, you seen that the tax rates are going to be changed according to the government activities. And under productive canon also, you seen that the government of India removed or prohibited the taxes like gift tax, estate tax, because they are not going to provide any huge amounts to the government also. And the next one is that the canon of flexibility. Here flexibility concept is almost all related to the elasticity, but both of them are quite different from each other. So just try to understand, students. Here flexibility means there should be no rigidity in the taxation. That means tax system can be changed according to the governmental requirements. When it can be changed means it either increase or decrease. That means elasticity is possible. So that what you can understood, when flexibility is there, elasticity may be achievable very easily. This is the basic aspect. So when flexibility is there, it should be changed. The tax system should be changed. When tax system can be changed, then there is a chance for the elasticity. So through flexibility, elasticity can be achievable. This is the basic aspect. And the next one is that canon of diversity. Canon of diversity means imposing of variety of taxes. That means variety of taxes are going to be imposed. Variety of people are going to be bring under the umbrella of the taxation, so that on one people or on few people there may not be high tax. At the same time, the government revenues are also going to be enhanced. This is the basic concept of the canon of diversity. Because of that only, nowadays the government is going to be consider or bring the different activities, different people, different professions under the umbrella or purview of the taxation system. So that if any tax rate has been changed or any tax amount is going to be decreased, as many number of taxes are there, there may not be any adverse effect in the tax amount of the government. This is the basic concept of the tax of diversity, canon of diversity. Next one is that canon of simplicity. That means the tax system should be simple. It should be understood by everyone. How to calculate, how much of the payment should be made, or to be very simple and understandable to the taxpayer. It is very important to avoid the corruption and oppression on part of the tax department. If it is not simple, people either avoid them or pay the bribe to the taxation department. They try to reduce their amount of taxation also. So flexibility, so simplicity is one of the basic concept. For example, if you seen that many of the people in our country not know about or not aware about the value of income tax, how much they have to pay at a particular period. So that many people are going to consult the chartered accountants, consultants who are going to prepare the taxation sheets on behalf of such people also. This leads to additional income, additional burden on part of the taxpayer. So they try to evade them also. In this manner, these all are considered as the canons of taxation. Not only that, canon of coordination is there. That means there shall be the existence of the coordination between different tiers or levels of the government. That means the same tax is going to be levied by the different governments at various levels. At such instance, there should be the coordination between the central government, state government, as well as the local governments also. If such coordination is lacked, that leads to the heavy taxation or more incidence of taxation on that particular taxpayer is going to be seen also. And all taxes should be developmental. That means they never act as the hurdles in the industrial activity as well as the commercial activity. And not only that, they should never encourage the concept of the income inequalities. For that purpose, whatever the tax collected by the government should only use for the welfare of the people. So these are all the canons of the taxation. The first four are advocated by the Adam Smith, and the next five are added by the other economists like Smith and Sriyas. That is canon of productivity, canon of elasticity, canon of simplicity, canon of diversity and flexibility, and canon of the coordination as well as the simplicity also. This is the basic canons of the taxation. There may be a question for your examinations from these canons of taxation. So with this concept, I am going to close our today's class. In our next class, we are going to discuss about the incidence of taxation. That means on whose the impact of taxation is going to be taken place. Incidence, impact, effect of taxation. This is related to another part or subtopic in this chapter. So we will discuss in our next class. Then we will go for the expenditure of the government. That is next one, public expenditure. Now we are discussing public revenue or public income. So just once go through all those topics and just to try to understand them and try to get the things.